Mrs. Johnson. How are you?
Well, not so good today, I must tell you. I don't know what my son Troy is doing in the office here. How come? I got here earlier, I saw him, I spoke to him a little bit, and here he is in the office again. And I want to know what's happening.
Well, I can certainly understand how you feel that way. And I did have a short time to talk with Troy before coming in here. I haven't had a chance to talk to his teacher, Mr.
White.
Right.
Mr. White.
Right, thank you, Mr. White.
I knew it was going to be Mr. White, and he told me that because Mr. White has it out for Troy. He has it out for Troy. And this is the problem with this district. There is mistreatment, racism of children of color. And it's not just African American students, it's Latino students. And my son Troy is a good boy. Right, Troy? You do your homework. I want him in here.
You would like to have Troy come in here?
I'd like to, because I want to know, this is about Troy too. I know I'm here for this other aspect, which is the bigger problem for all children throughout the district and as well as this school. But this is serious. What's going to happen to Troy?
I completely understand your concern. What I have done is I asked for the guidance counselor to talk with Troy until I have an opportunity to talk with Mr. White and see what happened with this incident. But it does seem like your concerns are more overreaching than just this particular incident.
Absolutely. Mr. White insults my son. He says, "Hey, boy, get your chair or you're going to move over there." That is racism. That is racism. He has a name.
Well, he certainly has a name, and we treat all of our students with respect.
But the white student wasn't moved. How come Troy's moved?
His seat was moved?
Yes, and that's why Troy said, this is the third time it's happened to me. I'm not the only problem in this classroom. And he doesn't have problems with the other teachers.
Well, I'm gonna follow up with Mr. White today, and I'm going to talk with the guidance counselor, and I'm going to also talk with Troy. And my plans are to follow up with you by the end of the day once I have all the information concerning what happened today.
Well, I hope so. Do you have my cell phone number?
Yes, I do. I do have that.
Okay, good, because I really have to know. We need a solution. What do you think you have in mind? Are you going to punish him for this?
Well, I don't have all of the details of what happened there. My goal is to find a solution that is going to work for your son Troy as well as the classroom as a whole.
Well, I think Troy has to be in another class. He has not had, Mr. White has it out for him, and I think he has to have a different math teacher.
Let me talk with Mr. White, and we can consider different sections if that is a solution that's agreeable to all parties.
All right, and you're going to call me today?
Yes, I will.
All right.
I appreciate you coming in and expressing your concerns, and I really do value you as part of the parent advisory committee as far as our parent council. And if we can all come together and brainstorm some ways that we can build more capacity in that way, we can certainly do so.
Well, the superintendent has designated you as the representative for this district to address these problems and expects you to do something, because we've talked to him. We have collected data from the data officer on all of the disproportionate number of discipline referrals, kids not going, dropping out, kids of color not going on to gifted, advanced classes when they get to the high school. And my son Troy was never tested for gifted. And I've contacted the state, so all of us know that even though there is a cutoff in terms of the testing, but there's flexibility. And this district has very few students of color in gifted and talented.
Well, as far as the gifted enrollment, that is done through an IEP, and parents can request that assessment if that's.
I have.
And you have not.
I did a 4th, 5th grade. Everybody ignores me.
Okay. Well, that's something we can look into further, and I can speak with our school psychologist about that. If you would like to put your request in writing for me, and then I can take that to the school psychologist, we can have that done as well. As far as the honors classes are concerned, we do have criteria as far as standardized testing and teacher feedback as far as grades. However, parents are able to enroll their students in honors courses and get feedback from the teachers as far as how their performance is going.
As long as he doesn't have Mr. White.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that your request about that, and let me follow up with Mr. White. Let me get the details of what happened, and I will follow up with you by the end of the day today. Is it okay to contact you on your cell phone?
Oh, absolutely, anytime, anytime.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we have this, conversation, and we've opened up the lines of communication, because we know that, for Troy to be successful, we need to have a partnership with you and his teachers. And I know we can get to a point where that is happening for the best interest of Troy. And I look forward to seeing you at that parent council meeting. I will set up a meeting with you and the other parent council meetings, get some feedback from teachers as well, and ask them to also attend, and we'll come up with some solutions.
Now, there's a parents' council, and then there's this advocacy committee.
Okay.
So what's going to happen there?
The advocacy committee, well, I think maybe what I'll do is talk to the advocacy. Are you the president of the advocacy committee?
Oh, we have a whole group of at least 15 people of color, African American and Hispanic, and we have rotated who facilitates the meeting and is the officer of the day, because we all have problems. It's not just my problem, that Troy being picked on by a teacher. You would be amazed at how many parents talk about how their kids of color are shuffled aside. If they're not insulted and abused, they're ignored.
Would there be a group of, would there be an opportunity for a few of you to represent the, I think 15 people might be a large number for a brainstorming type of meeting, so that we can come up with some solutions? Would there be a few parents that would be willing to represent that group? I know you're
not yet. Everybody wants to speak.
Okay. Since you are a member of both the parent council and the advocacy, could you go back to the committee and ask if we could come up with a couple, say 2 to 3 people from the group that would be willing to come in? That's
not going to work. We want you to meet with all of us.
Okay. Well, when do you meet?
You tell us when you're available. Now, not everybody's going to be able to do it, because we have to work, and people have different shifts. And that's part of the reason about having such a large committee. We could have, how many, in this district we have subgroups, and so we've taken a survey of parents of color. And so we could have 50 people meeting with you, but we've narrowed it down to 15. So, but not all 15 are going to be there, because some people work third shift, some people work first shift. When are you available? We'll be there.
Well, probably after the school day would be a more appropriate time. I can be in contact with you in the advocacy group and see when I can get a team of people together.
When? We've been shuffled. We've been ignored. We've been working on this. Now the superintendent knows we mean business.
Would it be reasonable to get back to you within a week about a time and date?
Definitely. But I want to know, what is it going to be? 3 months? 4 months? When are we going to meet? What's your projection?
Let's put 2 weeks as a good timeline that we can get together within the next 2 weeks. Is that reasonable?
Yes. And you are aware that there are parents not just from this school.
There are parents from other schools as well.
Oh, yes, it's a whole district.
Okay. So you can expect that there would be some district administration there as well, since it's a broader scope than just this building.
Do you have any ideas for solutions to these problems?
Well, as far as the discipline policy, we handle our discipline referrals. We do have a discipline handbook, and we do follow the procedures and protocols that are designed there in the handbook.
I signed that. It has a parent signature in the very beginning. I know that book. I do know that book. And Troy has followed that. What occurred in this situation was not in the discipline book. It's about a teacher's racism and discrimination to my child.
Well, we do have to handle all cases individually and look at, the needs of the individual student.
He doesn't get in fights. He doesn't deface property.
Right. I'm sure your son has the well intentions of coming to school and putting his best foot forward in the school day. However, I do need to address some of the referrals that come through. For example, like today, Mr. White asked him to sit in another seat, and he did refuse to do that. So I do need to follow up with that to see what kinds of choices he's making, as well as what preceded that.
Are you going to administer any punishment without my knowing?
Well, I certainly would like to investigate it first before I can make any decisions about discipline, and I will contact you today, by the end of the day, on your cell phone, so that we can discuss the appropriate response.
Okay. I look forward to hearing from you.
And I really appreciate you coming in here and sharing, your concerns. And once again, I do thank you for everything you do to volunteer for our school and what you contribute here, because you're a valuable person to our community.
Well, thank you, Ms. 3.
You're welcome. Sorry.